Alright, y'all. Today we're going to be reviewing Leon Rose's tenure as the Knicks GM. We're going to give an honest, truthful review of all his transactions, his drafts, picks, his trades, his signings. And when I say truthful, just know.
The truth, and they say the truth hurt.
Round. With the 8th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Obi Toppin from Dayton University.
What an emotional moment for the Dayton Flyer. Getting a round of applause from Adam Silver. It wasn't really that long ago that this would seem to be an unthinkable.
Right, so Leon takes Obi Toppin at 8. Now, I wasn't discomposed by this pick, but I wanted Devin Vassell. If you seen Devin Vassell in college, you knew he was a sniper. Everybody knew that jump shot was going to translate. And he was known as a defender in college as well. And this is after we found out Kevin Knox wasn't there. We knew he wasn't there. This was year 2 of Kevin Knox. Yeah, he's not it. And this is a wing-driven league, man. You got to get the wings when they're available, man. And if not Vassell, I wanted Avia, 6'9" forward coming out of Israel. They were comparing him to Gallinari. That's all I needed to hear. I didn't know too much about him, I ain't gonna lie. But I ain't a scout. But yeah, we ain't do that either.
With the 25th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Emmanuel Quickley from the University of Kentucky.
So the second Wildcat guard going in the last few picks, in the last 5 picks to be precise.
So at 25, the Knicks draft Emmanuel Quickley. This was a very good pick. I wasn't too high on Quickley at first because I seen him at Kentucky. He played a lot of shooting guard. And the Knicks needed a point guard. So I'm like, why are they drafting Emmanuel Quickley? I felt like the Knicks should have moved up to get Tari Eason, but Leon didn't have the confidence to do so. But this was a very good pick. Emmanuel Quickley, what became evident about him was his confidence. He knew he was good, and he wasn't going to let no one tell him no different. And that's the kind of player you need to be in New York and to be playing for Tom Thibodeau. Now, IQ went 25. I wanted to show y'all some other key names that went in the first round. So you got Payton Pritchard at 26, Jaden McDaniels at 28, and Desmond Bane at 30. And Payton Pritchard, I thought he was going to go higher than IQ. He was a dog in college. He was really good in college, so I was kind of surprised by that. Jaden McDaniels. I remember seeing Jaden McDaniels on ESPN with some scout. They was breaking down film or something. You don't pass up on a long, switchy, rangy defender like that, man. I recall seeing him play one time in college, and he didn't show me anything offensively, so I didn't know much about his offense, but I know that defense was Gucci. So you can tell most of these guys don't know what the hell they be talking about. If Obi Toppin can go 8 and Jaden McDaniels goes 28. What Jaden McDaniels does translates to the NBA. Obi Toppin never showed off no great skill, no elite footwork in the paint or nothing. He scored in transition. I got a lot of fast break opportunities. He's a system player. McDaniels doesn't need to be in the system to be effective in the NBA. And the scouts should know that. I don't know why Leon Rose thought he would be successful in the Tom Thibodeau offense or read and react offense. Thibs said, yo, go stand your ass in that corner, B. That's a whole other topic, though. And I ain't saying McDaniels should have went 8th, but the Knicks could have traded back and got some more picks because they wasn't too sure about Obi Toppin. You got Desmond Bane. He dropped in the draft because his arms was too short. They said he got the gator arms. I believe Desmond Bane shot at least 41% through 4 seasons in college. You know that's going to translate in the NBA. These scouts are just crazy, man. So the 2020-2021 season begins. Leon made some minor trades that we don't need to talk about, like Austin Rivers to the Knicks. He has a little 10 minutes of fame. Shout out to Austin Rivers. Now, this was a great trade. The Knicks trade Dennis Smith Jr. and the 2021 second round pick for Derrick Rose, my guy. I was so hyped when they made this trade. Derrick Rose was a substantial pickup over Dennis Smith Jr. They were in dire need of a point guard. And the Knicks got a rejuvenated Derrick Rose. As we take a look at his shooting splits from Detroit to New York, he averaged 15 points. His field goal percentage went up 6 points. His 3-point percentage went up 8 points. which the Knicks desperately needed at that time, not just from the point guard position, but from the entire team. It helped the team in general. The Knicks traded for Derrick Rose on February 8th. As we take a look at the monthly splits, they were 11-15 before they traded for Derrick Rose and 30-16 after they traded for Derrick Rose. I'm not sure the record in the games he missed, but I'm sure it's under 500 or at 500 the most. I actually believe they were 5-11 in the games he missed, actually. And that just shows you the impact Derrick Rose made on this team. This team was in dire need of a point guard. This team was looking like they were going to miss the playoffs. You talk about raising floors, Derrick Rose did that to the fullest. Raised the floor to this team. So that was a great trade by Leon. All right, now this was a good season. 41-31 finished the season. Lose to the Atlanta Hawks in the first round, 4-1. I wasn't upset that they lost. I was just agitated the way they lost. How my guy D Rose was the only guy to show up, and Alec Burks and Randle just had a terrible playoffs. But it was a good season. Progress was being made. I was just ready for the next season to start. You can see the progress being made. It was exciting to be a Knicks fan again. All right, so we're going to hop straight into the 2021 offseason, and we're going to start with the draft. Leon did bad and good in this draft. The Knicks came into this draft with the 19th, 21st, and 32nd overall picks. I felt like the Knicks could have traded as high as to the 14th pick if they traded all of their picks or two of their picks, as I show y'all the guys who went in that range. As you can see, there's a few guys who was worth it. And Trey Murphy was one of those guys. As you can see, the Knicks worked him out, as Ian Begley reports. So they knew about him. He was on their target list. So I don't understand why they didn't try to package that 19th pick that they traded for nothing, basically, and move up to get him. As you can see, the Grizzlies ain't want him anyway. Shout outs to this guy who thought we could have got as high as the 13th pick. Trey Murphy is your guy. Go get him. 6'9" wing. You need him. You targeted him. You clearly wanted him, so go get him. But instead of doing that, you trade away the 19th pick for a future first-round pick, and you trade down from the 21st pick, which was a bad move at the moment and a bad move looking back in hindsight, when you consider y'all at least thought about packaging all three of y'all picks to move up.
With the 19th pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Kai Jones from Nassau, Bahamas, from the University of Texas.
Now, this one made no sense above all. Shout outs to Mark Berman for reporting that Jalen Johnson may be in play for the Knicks, and he fell right into their laps. This hurts to even look at. Wow. Shout out to these users. And Jimmy, you need to put an on after that Jimmy, and an R after that D, and a G after that U. Because you tweaked, my boy. Shout outs to this user. Jalen J resembles Randle. Maybe Rose figured he would be duplication. I guess none of the choices past number 17, Trey Murphy, look automatic. Charlie getting Kai Jones and Book might probably think I'm similar to McDaniels, but I doubt it. Exactly. That's why you go get your guy at 17. And Jalen Johnson can play the 3 and the 4. Randle can't. Jalen Johnson can guard the 3 and the 4. Randle can't. He's way more versatile than Randle. The game comes much easier to Jalen Johnson than Randle. You don't pass up on a time like that. And the Knicks interviewed him. They knew the only reason he fell in the draft was because they said he so-called put on the team, which was cap. Now look at what this bozo Jim Bohan said just to hurt the kid's draft stock. That guy was hurting them. So they actually are much now better without him, Bohan said. He was just doing some things and keeping other people from playing that are good. They've had 2 must-have wins now since he's opted out. Berman writes, sounds like the move wasn't all flowers and candy. Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau worked closely with Coach K and Bohan on Team USA. I'm a very versatile player, can guard multiple positions, Johnson said. There's a lot of things I bring to the table, the passing and making everyone around me better. I'm going to prove a lot of people wrong and show people that aspect of my game, Johnson said. I'm developing a consistent outside shot and excited to show it on the next level. I want to perfect it and make it a weapon. He's basically telling the Knicks to draft him. That's everything the Knicks need. And you need that kind of confidence of a player in New York City. So if Leon and Thibs took any consideration to what Jim Bohan told them, that would just be asinine. fact that they gave that 19 overall pick to Charlotte for a future first rounder and Jalen Johnson was right there is mind-boggling to me. Some people may say it was to save money. No, y'all could have did that the year before when y'all drafted Obi top in 8. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was worth that high pick. So I'm not giving Leon no pass for that.
You heard the crowd, they were starting to build up, so maybe it's getting around the entire building that this is going to be a Knicks pick. And by the way, I love this young man. He started to
Quentin Grimes. Now, this was a good pick by the Knicks. He always stood out to me at Houston. He stood out in the combine games he was playing, so I like this pick. And I always felt like if he got the chance that he would be able to do what he's doing on Philly right now. The Knicks used him as a spot-up shooter, and he did as best as he could doing that. He did a good job at it. But he got traded for a multitude of reasons, but we're going to get into that later in the video. Now, the second round of the draft. I wasn't pleased with this, and if you knew who Herb Jones was at the time, you weren't pleased with this either. I understand I needed a point guard, but y'all draft 2 point guards in the second round, and one in Deuce McBride, who's really an off-ball guard, and the Rokas Jokic, who's not even over here right now. And y'all pass up on Herb Jones, a 6'8" wing, who's first-round caliber. The only question with Herb Jones was his jump shot. Everything else was a go. He was a little rough around the edges, but everything else was a go. You can't pass up on a wing like that if you're the Knicks. We're just lucky he went to a West Coast team. Deuce McBride had to get it out the mud. All Knicks fans know he had to wait about 2 years till he really started to play, maybe 3 years. Herb Jones would have been playing from the go. End of second round, Knicks draft Jericho Sims at 58. That's who we don't care about. OKC gets Aaron Wiggins at 55. Shout out to Sam Presti, the best GM in the league by far. Okay, draft over. Knicks signed Kemba Walker after he gets bought out by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I believe to a 2-year deal with a team option. Now, this was worth the gamble. Knicks was still looking for a point guard. The only question with Kemba was his health. And I felt like he could stay healthy, splitting the minutes with Derrick Rose. But that didn't even work. That man needs to just cook. Kemba needs burnt out. I remember a game he had 44 points. And they played 2 days later and he couldn't go. They said he had to rest. I'm like, damn, yeah, Kemba is cooked, man. And there were certain games you would just watch. You would just see like, damn, Kemba don't got it tonight. And that's how it is with them knees, man. So yeah, you can't even get mad at Leon for thinking that'll work with Kemba Walker. Okay, the Knicks and the Celtics do a sign and trade for Evan Fournier. They signed Evan Fournier to a 4-year, $73 million contract. Now, this was a bad to average signing. Evan Fournier is not a so-called Thibs guy. That's why I wonder if Thibs has any inputs on these signings and trades Leon does. Fournier was never known for defense. He's terrible on defense. The Knicks got him because they felt like they needed 3-point shooting. Evan Fournier is a good shooter. Sometimes he could be very good, but he's more of a guy who needs the ball in his hands to be at his best. And he has no kind of impact on the game defensively. So I don't know why they were so focused on signing Evan Fournier, when you could have signed Alex Caruso for half the price and then some. A so-called Thibs guy, does all the dirty work, doesn't need the ball in his hand. Thibs will have loved Caruso just like he loves Josh Hart. So yeah, Leon fumbled with that one. Then the Knicks do a relevant trade here that we don't need to talk about. Then they trade Kevin Knox and a protected first-round pick for Cam Reddish and Solomon Hill, which wound up being a good trade because they wound up getting Josh Hart for Cam Reddish. Knicks finished the season 37-45. They missed the playoffs. Now, I wasn't upset they missed the playoffs. I felt like they were still developing the culture, and as a team, my only gripe was I felt like Tom Thibodeau was stalling the younger players' development. For instance, refusing to start Emmanuel quickly over Alec Burks at point guard. But that's for a whole nother video. So the Knicks weren't even focused on the draft entering the 2022-23 offseason. Everybody knew they were going to sign Brunson. We seen them at the playoff games in Dallas. And they were focused on making a big trade for Donovan Mitchell. And in order to do that, they had to clear some more cap space. Now, I believe this is rated number 2 on my piss me off list from Leon Rose. Now, look how Sam Presti just finessed Leon Rose. Because he knew Leon Rose was focused on Jalen Brunson and signing Donovan Mitchell, that he didn't care about his draft picks. You trade the 12th overall pick to OKC for Denver's 2023 first-round protected top 14 pick, which you wound up not keeping anyway, and Detroit's 2023 first-round top 18 protected pick, which will convey this year that you traded in the Dante DiVincenzo trade, and Washington's top 14 protected pick, which will never convey. And you're going to accept this weak-ass trade, and you know OKC has much better picks than this. So OKC got the Knicks 11th pick, Ousmane Dieng, and the 12th pick, J-Dub, man. People like to bring up Jalen Duren. That's not what I care about. I wanted Jalen Williams. If you know me, you know I wanted Jalen Williams. If you noticed him, how I noticed him in the draft combine, you've seen how easily he was scoring. He was scoring so easy. It's not about how much you score, it's about how easy you score and the way you score. He showed everything in that combine. His pull-up game, his playmaking game, ball handling, playmaking for others, finishing, dribbling. You've seen everything. I remember telling my father, I'm like, yo, he's better than RJ Barrett. My father laughed at me. Shout out to Prez, who wrote this draft profile. When you watch Jalen, the thing that jumps out is his ability to quickly understand what is happening. He sees weak points and mistakes in real time and often ahead of time. He knows how to manipulate defenses through passing, through his handle, and using his eyes and body. He also knows how to impose himself and call his own number from anywhere on the court, which is pretty great considering he is a fantastic ambidextrous 7'3" wingspan. 40-inch verge having finisher, who is a great shooter from 2 and 3 and has a great floater. He can truly do it all. Even if he's not running an offense, you can trust him to capitalize on any advantages that come his way via scoring and passing. He's a late bloomer who has shown an aptitude for both learning the game and taking advantage of his physical changes very quickly. If he really begins to shoot threes at a high volume or play defense befitting his 7'3" wingspan, you're probably talking about a franchise-changing talent. Knicks fit, great. You can't have too many bigger wings, and the Knicks have a significant lack of wings who are great decision makers, athletic, or very good shooters. Jalen is all 3. Shout out to Prez, that was a flawless report. It made no sense for them not to draft Jalen Williams. Nobody tell me they were trying to save money because they were going to draft Dyson Daniels if he fell to them, and they were going to draft bum-ass Johnny Davis if he fell to them too, over Jalen Williams. Then they work out Tari Eason. Shout out to Prez again, who wrote this article again. I don't know who Prez is, but I need to put him on y'all scouting team. Knicks fit great because they lack any blue chip versatile big wings, but a little bit tricky because of the roster group. If both Julius and Obi remain, there isn't really much of a pathway for consistent minutes. He could moonlight as a big 3 or a short 5 because of his quickness and length, respectively, and he did indeed do that in college often. But do we really trust these Knicks to get creative for a rookie? Okay, they should have known they were going to eventually have to trade Obi Toppin. Like, you have to play chess in this league. Leon is not good at playing chess. This dude can guard the 3, 4, and the 5, Obi and Julius Randle Kent. Who way is he getting enough? Or do you just know Thibs ain't going to play him anyway, or so you just like, fuck it, I'm not going to draft him? And if that's the case, you're drafting around this coach. That's why these two are not a match made in heaven. They are terrible for each other. That's for a whole nother video. These are other few key things they could have had, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. So they wound up coming away with Trevor Kills, bum ass, 42nd pick overall. So they basically got nothing from that draft, which is something I was never cool with them, just giving away their draft pick so they can make space to sign Jalen Brunson. I was never on that train. They needed to find a way to get Brunson and keep their draft pick. Like, they could have traded Obi Toppin for nothing like they did anyway and kept that draft pick. And this is one pick in particular that's hurting them from that draft that they wish they had on this team right now. So the Knicks signed Jalen Brunson to a 4-year, $104 million contract, which was great. I never questioned the contract. First thing I did was go and look at these other point guards' contracts. I knew he was better than Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, CJ McCollum after watching that playoff run in Douglas, especially when Luka was up. The question was, could he get to that De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young, Kyrie territory? He definitely passed Trae Young and Fox up. So people were just emotional, overreacting, saying he got overpaid. Then they signed Isaiah Hartenstein to a 2-year, $16.7 million contract, which was also another great signing. Everyone knows how much of a pivotal role he played in the Knicks' success, filling in for Mitchell Robinson when he got hurt, and I felt he fit better with the starters in general. So the season starts, the Knicks don't do anything until the trade deadline, and that's acquiring Josh Hart. As part of a 4-team trade, the New York Knicks traded Ryan Arcidiacono, Cam Reddish, and Todd Tomich in the 2023 first-round pick. Y'all just left all these first-round picks away, man. And they're starting to catch up with them right now. So the Portland Trailblazers traded Danny Diaz, Bojan Dubjevic, and Josh Hart to the New York Knicks. Now, we all know this was a great trade. Once Josh Hart got to the Knicks that season, you could just see the impact he had on his team. Like, the energy he brought was contagious to everyone. You could see it. That never give up attitude. As we see, the Knicks went 9-2 in February. They had great momentum heading into the playoffs, and I had no doubt they could beat the Cavs. And that they did. They handled the Cavs in 5 games, and my confidence was high about them beating the Miami Heat, which doesn't happen. The Knicks moved to the Miami Heat in 6 games, and I wasn't disappointed. One thing for certain, all Knicks fans knew that Jalen Brunson was that guy. And another thing we knew was Julius Randle wasn't after that damn Miami Heat series. And I was about done with Thibs at this point. I was just ready for his old stubborn ass to get up out of here. So the 2023 offseason begins. The Knicks have no draft picks in this draft. As we all remember the ham shit Dallas did about tanking games at the end so they could keep that 10th pick that was supposed to go to the Knicks. I wonder if the Knicks would have took Casey Wallace, Derek Lively. They probably would have just traded the pick. No Leon ass. Who knows? Okay, so the Knicks' first move is to trade Obi Toppin for 2 future second-round picks, which they had to trade the guy for something, your 8th pick, for nothing, because your coach will refuse to use him to his best abilities. Okay, you figured out he wasn't the guy for you. The next move is to maximize his trade value, but they refused to do that. And Leon Rose refused to step in to get the kid's value up, so he's a part of the blame for that as well. Now, I wanted to mention the Jrue Holiday trade because I feel like it was a pivotal moment for the Knicks, and not just the Knicks, the NBA. I think we can all agree that this trade put the Celtics over the top. They had 5 All-Stars on their team, including Derek White. Nobody is beating this team. They're going to need a ton of luck to beat the Celtics. The only way I see the Celtics losing is if someone gets hurt. If Holiday or Tatum gets hurt, then okay, they might definitely lose. But if Brown, Derek White, I feel like they may still have a chance to get by certain teams. And let me say, OKC has the talent, but I don't feel they have the experience to beat the Celtics. So we seen the Celtics got Jrue Holiday for Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon and 2 first-round picks. And I feel like the Knicks should have and could have got Jrue Holiday for a similar package. Now we see the Bucks here, but this would really be the Blazers. They just wouldn't allow me to put him on that roster. And then instead of using Quickly in the OG trade, you could have just used RJ and Deuce and some more picks, or RJ and Jericho Sims and some more picks. Okay, so the season starts. The Knicks get off to a mediocre start. As you can see, they started off 17-15, and it was time for some changes to be made. The Knicks trade RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, a 2024 second-round pick for Precious Achiuwa, OG Anunoby, and Malachi Flynn. Now, this was a great trade for the Knicks. Although I felt like Quickly could have been used in a separate trade, I knew the Knicks weren't going to be able to afford him. He wanted to be a starter, and I wasn't going to pay him the money that he wanted anyway. So, yeah, they had to get Quickly up out of here. And OG, once OG got here, it was such a sigh of relief watching OG play rather than having to watch RJ Barrett play basketball. As you can see, the Knicks go 14-2 in January after the OG and Anunoby trade. So that says it all about his impact. Okay, so the Knicks trade Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes, Ryan Arcidiacono, and 2 second-round picks for Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of this trade because I felt like Leon did this trade based on the coach. Bondi reports Quentin Grimes unloaded on his diminished role after another disappearing act Tuesday, outlining his frustrations with the lack of offensive opportunities and his coach's quick hook. It's just hard when you go the whole quarter without touching the ball, the whole second quarter without touching the ball, and then you get one shot and you got to make it, Grimes said. So it's tough going out there and just standing in the corner the whole game. Then you got to make the shot when you shoot the ball 1 or 2 times per game. It is what it is. Grimes, the starting shoot guard, took just 1 shot, giving him 7 consecutive games with just 4 points or fewer on 6 field goal attempts or fewer. It was the 3rd straight games Grimes didn't play in the final period. Then he implied Tom Thibodeau's leash is unfairly short. It feels like if I don't hit the shot, I'm coming out, Grimes said. So every shot I shoot probably weighs like 100 pounds if I don't make it. And our defense, it ain't cutting it, so I know I ain't going back in. Grimes joined Josh Hart as the latest role player to voice frustrations about the lack of opportunities. It's a product of an offense that features 3 ball-dominant lefties. Grimes' averages dropped from over 11 points in 30 minutes last season to about 6 points in 23 minutes during this campaign. Now, you trade a young player in Quentin Grimes, who we all knew his potential and that he was still getting better. And if you couldn't see that Quentin Grimes was just struggling mentally and he just needed a confidence boost, and that this coach was not putting him in the best positions to be successful, then that's just on you, Leon. Because I sure know they wish they had Quentin Grimes right now. But no, you're right to trade him for 2 veteran players that you know your coach is comfortable with. And he shouldn't have to worry about them as much because they're not as young as Quentin Grimes. Then I forced myself not to be mad. I told myself that Quentin Grimes would have never been this player under Tom Thibodeau. But fuck that. And F this coach, because you're going to keep trading players and draft picks that you believe that he's not going to be able to maximize them anyway, so you might as well get rid of them. And get some vets he doesn't have to teach. That's for another video, man. So the regular season ends, the Knicks finished 50-32, and they had the task of facing the 76ers in the first round. My confidence was very high that they would be able to beat them guys, which they did. It was a very tough all-4 series. The Knicks did their thing. And then my confidence was super high that they would be able to defeat the Indiana Pacers and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. But we all know what happened. Injuries took over. They lost that series, and that series was over before it started, man. The way the injuries killed the Knicks. I'm surprised that series even made it to 7 games. This right here is the final roster that the Knicks finished with. Now, how was I feeling at this point? I was cool with the team. I just felt like Thibs or Randle had to go, one or the other. And I preferred to be Thibs because I felt like Randle could be changed by a different coach, and Thibs is too old, stubborn, and he's soft. Randle knew he could do whatever he wanted on the Knicks, and Tom Thibodeau wouldn't hold him accountable. And one of them had to go. That's how I was feeling at this point. And I preferred to be Thibs because I believe he's an overrated coach, and he's too old and stubborn to keep up with these younger coaches. But we're going to get into that later. Oh, man. The downfall of Leon Rose's tenure as a Knicks GM. Trading 5 first-round picks, 7 total picks for Mikal Bridges. Now, I thought this was a terrible trade from the jump. If you watched Mikal Bridges in Brooklyn, you knew he was not a guy you trade 5 first-round picks for. Leon and his staff did a terrible job evaluating Bridges, if they evaluated him at all. Or they must have thought that he would be some spark like Donte DiVincenzo was when he came to the Knicks. They thought it was just a Villanova connection, but it wasn't. Donte DiVincenzo just came from Golden State, a very high IQ basketball team, and they run a lot of complicated action, so you have to be aware at all times on offense. And on defense, you have Draymond Green over there. You know you're going to be held accountable for all things. And Donte was a dog, so he brought all of that to New York with him. Now, Leon must have thought he was getting this 26 points a game version of Mikal Bridges. Now, that's a guy you consider trading 5 first-round picks for. But no, bro, as we can see, that was only a 27-game sample size. As we see, his PER and his free throw rate was way above his career average. As a basketball fan in general, I was looking forward to seeing this Mikal Bridges that next year, but it never came to fruition. As the points went from 26 to 19.5, his field goal attempts and field goal percentage went down. His PER and true shooting went down. And his usage went back down. And if you watch his defense, you knew he was not that defender that he had a reputation for. People were talking about him like he was on the level of an OG Anunoby or Herb Jones when he was not. And he never was. He was a great team defender that used his length to the best of his ability. He's a very good on-ball defender, but he's not on that elite level with them guys. And I tried to force myself to make this trade make sense, but it makes no sense, bro. It does not. All Leon did was put pressure on Mikal Bridges, trading him for 5 picks that he can never live up to, and all he did was add pressure to himself to rush this championship process. That's all he did with this trade. Terrible trade. So for everybody who wants to get mad at Bridges, including myself at times, for playing like he's not worth 5 picks, he never will be. So don't get mad at him. We can't get mad at him. It's the GM's fault. Now, this should have absolutely been the deal. Get Cameron Johnson in that trade. You throw Mitchell Robinson in that trade. I'm just using Alex Burks' contract as a fill-in. They could have signed Precious Achiuwa and added 2 more people like Daquan Jeffries and made this trade happen. I have absolutely no reason why they didn't get Cam Johnson in this deal. if you're gonna trade 5 first-round picks. This would have been much easier to cope with. Y'all were banging on the wrong team's door. Why are y'all banging on the team's door that's gonna overtax y'all in the first place? We need to be targeting these teams that's in some kind of transition, or they don't know which way they're going, like New Orleans. They were deciding between Brandon Ingram and Trey Murphy. You call them and offer them 5 first-round picks and see what they give you. See if you could get Trey Murphy and Herb Jones or something like that, man. Now, these are guys I wanted before the season even started. I wasn't thinking about no damn Mikal Bridges after I heard the prices they were asking for. Memphis offered them 4 first-round picks and they declined it. Like, no. You're supposed to go to these weaker teams and look at their best value players with great contracts. I wanted Tumani Kamara since last year, and that nobody knew who he was. Now everybody know who he is, and his value is sky high, and I don't even think we could get him anymore. I wanted Denny Avia. I think Portland just traded 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks for him. But we so locked in on damn Mikal Bridges that we just gotta trade 5 first-round picks, man. These are guys we trade first-round picks for. Okay, so then the Knicks Resign OG and Anunoby. My initial thought when I seen this contract, I was like, damn. He's worth it, man. He's worth every penny, man. Especially if he's healthy, he's worth every penny, man. What this guy does on defense, the intangibles he have, you can't teach and you cannot replace, man. And what he was doing in that playoffs against Indiana Pacers, I felt like he had more offensive potential. So I wasn't pissed off at the OG deal. You had people out there saying, don't pay OG because you already have him and Mikal. We got Mikal, so it's no need to pay him that. No. Like, you can see that now. Ain't that many guys in this league that could go from guarding Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler, to guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo, to Joel Embiid. Like, that man is different. The 2024 NBA Draft, we gonna start it at 15, because once it got to 15, there were some guys who I was hoping dropped to us. And I made a list, and this exact order. Ryan Dunn, Jacoby Walter, Khalil Ware, Isaiah Collier, Yves Missi, Deron Holmes, Terrence Shannon, Kyle Filipowski, and there was a toss-up between Tyler Kolek and AJ Mitchell. I preferred AJ Mitchell because he was bigger. I think he's 6'4", 6'5". So the Knicks go in a total different direction where they're trying to save money, similar to what they did the draft when they signed Jalen Brunson, which is so annoying, man. So they wound up taking Keyshawn George for Washington, and then they draft Pacome Dadier at pick 25. Now, you know I was pissed off about this. They took him over about 3 or 4 guys that I wanted that were still available. So their next move is to trade 3 second-round picks for the number 34 pick, in which they selected Tyler Kolek. As you can see, 3 of the guys I wanted got selected back-to-back at the end of the first round. So you know I was pissed off. So they wound up selecting AJ Mitchell with the number 38 pick. So I'm like, okay, I'm happy. I'm like, they're going to have Tyler Kolek and AJ Mitchell battle it out and see who they like more. But no, they trade him with the worst team you could trade with, the Oklahoma City Thunder. If OKC wants a guy, he's most likely good. I'm not doing any trades with OKC. This is going to have to be an OKC tax or something. I'm not doing any trades with them guys. The way they've been finessing the Knicks these past couple of years, man, it's a shame. So they trade AJ Mitchell to the OKC, a guy who has been impactful on the OKC until he got injured, and he would have been impactful on the Knicks if Tom Thibodeau asked would have played him, for the number 40th pick, in which they wound up trading for number 56th pick and Kevin McCullough, who a player I like. And then they draft Ariel Hawk-Porty with the last pick of the NBA draft. So now let's review this draft and how Leon, Brock Outlet thought they were finessing something by trying to save money when they didn't finesse shit. So they signed Pacome Dadier for $1.8 million. They signed Tyler Kolek for $2 million. And they signed Ariel Hawk-Porty for $1 million. For a total of $4.9 million. As we see, Ryan Dunn signs for $2.5 million and Isaiah Collier signs for $2.5 million. Totaling up to $5,043,000. So that's about an $80,000 difference. So you mean to tell me that you couldn't communicate with these rookies that you're going to select them at 24 or 25 and that they're about to drop to around the 27, 28, 29 range and that what their salary is going to be, so you're going to offer them $2.5 million? Or y'all could have just kept trading back. Simple as that. Terrence Shannon went 27, Dunn 28, Collier 29. That's all $2.5 million range. And I like Dadier, but you can't pass up on a talent like Isaiah Collier, who can help Brunson right now, and I believe has the future to be an all-star. The Knicks scouts are good to average. starting to notice they're not bad, but they're not great. They're average to good. Isaiah Collier was the #1 point guard coming out of high school. You see all the potential he had at USC. 6'4", 6'5" guard. That's a perfect guard you put next to Brunson. He could play with Brunson or back him up in the future. He's already a tank. So why not just take a shot with that kid? Like, it makes no sense, man. Collier has more potential than Deuce McBride. He's already a better point guard than him. He's bigger than him. Deuce size becomes an issue. He's a 6'1" shooting guard. And y'all should know that. So y'all should have been looking for Deuce McBride's replacement, and Isaiah Collier would have been a perfect guy. So nah, I can't give him any more passes for missing out on talent like this. I've been giving Leon pass after pass after pass after pass for not hitting the draft pick on the money, but nah, not this time. And I'm not even gonna get into Ryan Dunn, Terrence Shannon Jr., Kyle Filipowski, other guys who we could have had, and I thought they would have helped this team. But it is what it is, man. The Knicks, this was a good draft, average draft. No, it wasn't even good, man. It was a bad draft for a team who's trying to compete for a championship. And I'm saying it's a bad draft, not because the players are not good, but the players that they could have had and all the finessing that they thought they was doing when they really didn't do any finessing. Y'all decided to prioritize vets like Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet, and Precious Achiuwa. We could have had all of these guys I named, Terrence Shannon, Ryan Dunn, Kyle Filipowski, who I feel are all better players than those bitch players we have. Knicks trade Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, Keita Bates-Diop, and a future first-round pick via Detroit for Karl Anthony Towns and the draft rights to James Nagy. Now, of course, I was happy with the Julius Randle for Cat trade, but I was just like, damn, man, did we have to trade Dante? They were saying Minnesota was adamant about it. They were not doing this trade unless Dante was in it. So then I'm like, why did we give them that first-round pick via Detroit, which is going to convey this year? Minnesota will get that pick. We should have gave them the Washington Wizards pick, but Leon was clearly showing he was desperate, so it is what it is. That Mikal Bridges trade just messed up everything, man, because you could have just used one of them picks in this Cat trade instead of trading Dante, man. We lost our heart and soul, and Hart and Son and Dante. Just like Jeannie Buss told Dallas that she was not trading Austin Reeves, Leon was supposed to be on, like, nah, I can't have Dante, bro. But it is what it is, man. He already did what he did. The Knicks decided to sign Cam Payne. I wasn't happy or mad about this signing. I was just like, whatever. I was still in my feelings about the draft. Like, I wanted Collier. We got Cohen, and I would have rather had AJ Mitchell than Cameron Payne to see what they can do. We know what Cameron Payne can do already, but okay. Then they decided to sign Landry Shamet. God damn it, Shamet. This guy right here, he's been playing much better as of late, but to start the season off, he was terrible. He suffered the injury, came back from the injury. He was terrible. They thought he was going to replace Dante. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Then they signed Matt Ryan. And stuff like this right here don't make no sense to me. They gave this guy a shot before they gave a guy like Chuma Okeke a shot. The chances of Matt Ryan playing for a Tom Thibodeau team are very low. My only reason of them signing him was a political reason, how I feel about these guys. They signed Matt Ryan just to save time for Landry Shamet to come back. But they could have used a guy like Chuma Okeke, who could have really contributed a couple of games where y'all needed some wings. Mikal Bridges didn't have it. Josh Hart didn't have it. They could have used Chuma Okeke. And Thibs didn't want to be put in that situation, or Leon didn't want to put Thibs in that situation. And that's just not cool. So this is the only trade the Knicks made during this season. Jericho Sims for DeLon Wright and Hugo Besson. And I don't even know why they re-signed Jericho Sims in the first place. If y'all was trying to save money, y'all shouldn't have re-signed Jericho Sims for that $2 million. That's the first thing I said when they re-signed him. I'm like, why are they re-signing him for? They trying to save money, and they can use that money for a draft pick. A Kyle Filipowski, a Deron Holmes. Now, this is a trade I wanted to do. I did a little short video on this, my first video I did. Now, the only reason you wouldn't trade Toumani Camara for Deuce McBride is because you don't know who he is and you don't watch basketball. All you watch is the New York Knicks. And that's a lot of Knicks fans, because a lot of Knicks fans that I went to with this trade said they wouldn't do it. But when you go outside of the Knicks community, everybody is saying they wouldn't do it if they were Portland. So, like, Knicks fans, y'all need to do better with yourselves, bro. Now, this is what you call a chess move, Leon. Look at the salary they save on this deal. and the value they get back into Monty Kamara. A great defender, a much better defender than Deuce. 6'8" versus 2 defender, can guard 1 through 4, as the Knicks seen this year as they played against him. So I'm sure they know about him now. You were supposed to target this guy once this season. Once you made that cat deal, you seen where your salary cap was. Go get this guy right here. He's everything you need in a player and contract. That's what I'm saying. Like, who does Leon has next to him in these offices? Because if I knew who Tumani was once he got traded from Phoenix to Portland, the Knicks should have known who he was. And it's a shame that we didn't hear not one report of them targeting this guy. So as I conclude this video, the Knicks are in the 3rd seed. It's looking like they're going to face the Bucks or the Pistons in the 1st round. I feel like they have the talent to win and compete with anybody in the league. I just don't think Tom Thibodeau is the coach for that. I feel like he's gotten this team to his limit. He's a floor-raising coach, not a ceiling raiser. I feel like he's a good coach, but I feel like the Knicks need a great coach. They need a coach who's able to maximize all of these players at their full potential. Thibs is not capable of that. I feel like he's over his head with all of the talent he has. This is the most talent he's had. But yeah, I see where I'm going with this. I'm going to say that for my next video on why I don't think Tom Thibodeau is the coach for this New York Knicks team. So if you watched and enjoyed the video, thank you. Appreciate you. Smash that subscribe and thumbs up button and leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Let me know what y'all think about Leon Rose's tenure too. I'll give him a B as a grade. It was a B++ to an A- before the Bridges trade. That just brought it all the way down for me.
I ain't got no love to give, that's why I stay to myself.